under a crystalline blue sky in Chicago. Cubs baseball is on the air. The Pittsburgh Pirates in town for a 4-game series and a rain makeup doubleheader this afternoon. Game 1 featuring Jason Beret of the Cubs against Jimmy Anderson for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Cubs enter play 10.5 games out of first. The Pirates are 5 games behind the front-running Cincinnati Reds. Lloyd McClendon's ball club, like the Cubs, has struggled to score, and that's a trend Jason Beret hopes continues today. Chad Hermanson will lead off in center field, followed by Jack Wilson at short. Cub killer Brian Giles hits third in left. Aramis Ramirez finally has hit his first home run of the season. He's hitting fourth. Rob Makoviak, a local product, is in right. Jason Kendall behind the plate bats sixth. Kevin Young hitting a .187, hits seventh. Pokey Reese dropped from second to eighth in the batting order, is at second base. And Anderson, of course, will pitch in that night against Cub right-hander Jason Beret, who's really had 2 great outings this year for the Cubs, Dave Otto. One saw him beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. The other saw him take a tough loss against the Cardinals in St. Louis.
And the 30-year-old looking to snap a personal 5-game losing streak. But, Chip, you're right. That last outing against the Cardinals, that is the Jason Beret of last year when he had that ERA of 4.31. He went 6+ innings in that ball game against the Cardinals and gave up 3 earned runs in a losing effort. But I like the way he threw his breaking ball last time to go along with that Fosh.
And look at the Cub defensive lineup in game 1 of the doubleheader. Alou, Patterson, and Sosa are in the outfield. Fred McGriff, Bobby Hill, Mark Bellhorn at short. Bill Miller at third base, and Robert Machado is behind the plate. Jason Beret's lost his last 5 decisions. He's given up 26 earned runs in 28 innings and 2/3. Wind should favor the pitchers to a certain degree. It's blowing very gently out of the east at 9 miles per hour. And it's a relatively comfortable 51 degrees, although once the sun dips below the horizon, it's going to get a whole lot colder here in Chicago. But many feel this is going to be the last real cold day that the Cubs will face, and that's a good thing here at Wrigley Field. Chad Hermanson in the box. He's ready to go, and we're underway. A strike, says Brian Onora. Hermanson is in his 8th game with the Pirates as the leadoff man. He's 7 for his last 25. He's knocked in 4 runs, but has only scored 1 time despite that pretty good start. Dave, this is a man that many felt the Pirates would be able to build their entire organization around. He's still a very young player, but just has not been the dominant offensive or defensive force they thought they were getting when they signed him.
Well, when he came up, or when he was in AAA, for 2 years in AAA, he had 60 home runs in those 2 years, Chip. And just has not been able to do it at the big league level yet.
Beret missed inside, ball 1 to Hermanson. What had them scared very much was he was hitting 196 at AAA. And he's out of options. He's got to make this team and stick with this team. Otherwise, if they expose him, someone else might take a chance with a very young player. And he's aboard with a leadoff single here in the top of the Pirate first. Pittsburgh team that's really struggled to have anybody consistently perform in that number 1 holding batting order.
Well, Adrian Brown, who had some starts leading off, really struggled and really searching. In fact, with Jack Wilson here batting second, Pokey Reese started the year off hitting in that 2 slot. Now he has moved down. He's looking for some offense at the top to set the table for guys like Giles and Ramirez, who's back in the lineup.
Wilson hitting a .191. No homers and 10 driven in for the Pittsburgh shortstop. And he shows bunt and pops it out of play. You will see very similar offensive styles, at least you figure to see that if you believe the numbers statistically in the National League. Pittsburgh dead last in batting average as a team at .225. The Cubs 15th out of 16 teams at .231. The Pirates average 3.2 runs a game. The Cubs average 3.6 runs per game. The Pirates dead last in home runs. They've hit 22 of them as a team. The Cubs only 11th with 38 home runs and 14 in 20 games in Chicago. So offensively, these 2 teams are really fighting it in the first 2 months of the 2002 season.
And certainly them losing Aramis Ramirez, who went on the 15-day DL after spraining his ankle. Certainly missed to him in that lineup.
0-1 to Wilson. Again, he bunts. It's popped up. Can anybody catch up? No. Diving try by Miller. And it's 0-2 to Jack Wilson, a former St. Louis Cardinal farmhand. Just 4 hits in his last 50 at-bats. But Wilson has been very impressive defensively for the Pirates, and who will forget that double play they turned against the Cubs up in Pittsburgh's PNC Park. Reese to Wilson to Young to end the game earlier in a series this year. One of the best double plays you'll ever see.
Off the bat of Alex Gonzalez, game ender.
Hermanson, a real good lead at first. No balls, 2 strikes. And that's toward the hole. Bellhorn stumbles, knocks it down, has no play. Bellhorn spun his wheels, and Wilson has an infield hit and an inauspicious start for Beret. 2 men on, nobody out for Brian Giles.
Well, Bellhorn playing at double play depth, not able to make the play. We have seen, particularly at Miller Park, and that was the guys losing their feet at Miller Park. Conditions pretty tough. That's a play that Bellhorn normally makes over at shortstop.
So now Beret's got to really batten down the hatches. Here's Giles, 7 homers, 16 batted in. He's hitting .258. And there's a double play ball. 4 to 6 to 3. No, they call him safe. Giles beat it out. Hustling down the line was Giles. Slow developing play up the middle. Hill and Bellhorn can't convert the double play, and Giles keeps the frame alive, 1st and 3rd with 1 out.
Well, it is slow developing, and Bobby Hill, you know, getting used to playing here at Wrigley Field. This infield is super slow, and on that type of ball hit, you got to charge it a little bit, although it does look like here, pretty close play over at first base. But Chip, with this slow infield, you have to be really aggressive fielding and charge the baseball in order to get 2.
Here's Aramis Ramirez. Dave, you're right. You mentioned he was on the DL with an injured ankle. And he has not regained his stroke yet. 5 for his last 30 since coming back on May 4th from that ankle problem. And he hit a home run on Sunday. That was his first in 31 games. And here's a man that belted 34 home runs last year for the Pirates. That's one big reason why they are struggling. His power numbers have taken a serious beating.
Well, last year, Ramirez and Giles both over 30 home runs. That was the first time that Pirates team has done that since Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds.
1 ball, 1 strike to Aramis Ramirez. Cubs would look for a double play ball off of his bat, but he doesn't hit it on the ground too often. Only 2 double play balls and 76 at bats for the Pittsburgh team. 2 singles to lead the game off by Hermanson and Wilson. Giles hit a ground ball that the Cubs couldn't turn into a twin killing. Now Ramirez looks for his 10th RBI and an early lead for Pittsburgh here in the 1st. Ball 2, strike 1 to Ramirez. Mood of the ball club much different today than it was heading into Sunday's series finale against Milwaukee. I think that everyone feels a huge sigh of relief now. You can get back to business and hopefully run off a string of good, solid baseball. The Cubs have to start doing it here at home, for there are not many home games in the next 3 weeks. 2-1. Pop back toward us. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, there's so many good things that happened in that ball game against Milwaukee. Sammy Sosa making the great catch in right field to finish the Brewers off in that 9th inning. Bill Miller with the man on 3rd in extra innings, making a great over-the-shoulder catch over at 3rd base. Joe Borowski, great relief work. That was a game that really the Brewers should have won, but the Cubs hung in there and battled their tail off. Fred McGriff, 2-run home run.
Might have been the greatest catch I've ever seen since I've been with the Cubs, the play that Sammy Sosa made. I mean, how many times have you seen a guy fall down on a potential game-winning or game-ending play, then get back up and on a dead run still recover to make the catch? I mean, he was down on both knees. And if that game had not gone the Cubs' way, oh boy, you talk about depressing. But what a play and what a comeback by the Cubs. Hit and run is on, and Ramirez stays alive. So everybody's excited, everybody's fired up. Again, they've got to be. Cubs only have 7 home games until the middle of June, when the White Sox come here to play on the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
saw Giles in motion there. I like that because I like the Cubs' chances. Ramirez, a big strikeout victim. Strike him out, throw him out.
2-2 pitch. On the way, runner holds, and the pitch line to left. Alou makes the grab. Tagging at third is Hermanson. The throw to the plate is a little bit late. And no advance by Giles. Ramirez drives home his 10th run of the year, and Pittsburgh grabs a 1-0 lead. Great throw by Alou, but the ball just hit too deeply to have a chance to get a speedy base runner at home.
Question, and the Cubs catch a break there because Brian Giles from first base does not tag up, and with Moises Alou trying to get that out at home, misses the cutoff man. Now at least Jason Bray gets the pitch with the man on first as opposed to someone in scoring position.
Here's Rob Makoviak, local product, has feasted against the Cubs if memory serves. He's knocked in 14 runs, 4 home runs, but a .232 batting average. Makoviak 4 for 13 with a home run and 3 knocked in the head-to-head series. Strikes. Giles runs, and the pitch fouled away by Makoviak, and the count evens at 1-1.
Well, Rios on the disabled list, received the bulk of the playing time in right field, but still has lingering effects from the knee injury he sustained last year. Back on the disabled list, and Makoviak is getting a chance to play every day in right field.
Have a 1-0 lead. 1 ball, 1 strike to Makoviak, and again to first. Pirates jumped out of the gates in great fashion, much to the surprise of a lot of people around Major League Baseball, and really they've done it with outstanding pitching. That trade they made with the White Sox really has been to the Pirates great benefit so far. Nothing against Todd Ritchie, but it added depth and it added a whole lot of quality to an injury-riddled Pirate staff. Now if they can get some offense going, they figure to at least make a run of it in the Central. Here it is, middle of May, and despite being 2 games under 500, Dave, the Pirates are only 5 games out of first place.
And coming off a year in which they lost 100 games because they lost 3/5 of their starting rotation at the beginning of last year.
2 balls, 1 strike. Ball 3. You don't want to face Jason Kendall with men on, and that's going to be the fate of Beret if he misfires again. Second season at the helm for former Cub Lloyd McClendon, the Pirate manager. He said when we first saw Pittsburgh, his demeanor has changed dramatically. It's not as intense, and he feels like his ball club has been playing much more relaxed. Ball 4, 2 are on with 2 out. Here's Kendall, another struggling Pirate hitter, but a man who is very, very dangerous. Kendall 1 for 15 this year against the Cub pitching staff, but lifetime hitting .282. Can't figure out why this guy's struggling so mightily offensively. Certainly the gigantic dimensions in left and left center field at his home park have something to do with it. He's had some injury problems too, but he's a much better player than he's shown. Strike over the outside corner, 0-1.
Well, Kendall battled that thumb injury last year, had off-season surgery, and so you would expect him, when all is said and done this year, to have better numbers than he's put up so far, because last year really basically hitting with one hand.
And he could have gone on the DL or opted for surgery during the season last year. Instead, he tried to play through the pain and did not have a particularly good season by his very high standards. This was one of the best catchers in the National League. Struggled through A .266 year with 10 homers and 53 batted in, and trying to justify that very big contract in a very blue-collar town.
Well, that 6-year, $60 million contract extension that he signed a couple years ago, this is his first year in that contract.
1 ball, 1 strike. Off his thumbs and over first down the right field line. That's trouble. Around second is Giles. He'll score. Makoviak, they're going to wave him. Sammy picks it up a little late under the grate. And Jason Kendall with 2 outs doubles home a pair, and the Pirates lead it by 3 here in the first inning. That's why you don't want to walk people in front of Jason Kendall.
No, right now, Jason trying to establish that breaking ball. He had a good one last time against the St. Louis Cardinals. However, by trying to throw so many breaking balls, you never find that command of your fastball. And in this first inning, with that wind blowing straight in, boy, you got to find number 1. Have to find your fastball.
So 3 for the Pirates, and they're still batting with Kevin Young, another struggling offensive player. You could say that practically about every member of their team. Young at 187 with 3 home runs and 10 driven in. Young closing in on 500 major league hits. He has 895 of them. Not bad for a man that was released twice, once by the Royals and once by these Pittsburgh Pirates. Nothing in 1 to Young. And there's a high looping fly ball to right. Sosa gallops in, and he'll make the catch to retire the side. Pittsburgh scores 3 times on 3 hits. They leave Jason Kendall stranded. Here come the Cubs trailing in the first.
If there's lots of places that you would like to see,
Fly Southwest Airlines, because friends fly free.
For romance.
Give it a 10.
Fly so you can dance.
Fly so you can cry. Fly, cause it's America.
And if you fly Southwest Airlines,
your friend flies free.
Announcing Friends Fly Free from Southwest Airlines. Simply purchase a special discounted fare starting at $59, and a friend comes along for free.
You are now free to move about the country.
Flags Great America. So big, so close.
You know, we sing for millions of girls, but helping out in schools, that's the real deal, baby. I know our love can multiply.
I'm the cute one, you know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been backstage before? Cause you're the excess.
I think you'll find that gravity is key in what I do.
Once was one, but now it's you. I'm spinning out of
Oh, sports show, period. Tonight at 10. Inauspicious start. The Pirates get 3 runs before Jimmy Anderson throws a pitch in competition. But this is the Cub lineup he will face in Game 1 of this afternoon's double dip. Corey Patterson, Bill Miller, and Sammy Sosa comprise the 1, 2, and 3 hitters. Fred McGriff, Moises Alou, and Robert Machado 4th through 6th. Bobby Hill at second, Mark Bellhorn the shortstop, and of course Jason Beret will pitch and hit ninth. Against a guy that's been awfully tough on the Cubs, Dave, and I would imagine the hitters, when they see a comfortable 0 for 4 figure, how in the world does Anderson do it?
Boy, you got that right. He's just a lefty that throws about 84, 85 miles an hour, but the thing that makes him difficult to hit sometimes is that deception in his delivery.
Patterson backs out of the way. Sometimes a long layoff between the top and bottom of the first can cause some first inning difficulty for the second pitcher in a game. And let's see if Patterson can be the igniter. Surprisingly, Corey has done a great job in his first full season as a starter against left-handed pitching. Patterson hitting .341 against southpaws this year.
And with that, his approach against left-handed pitching to try and drive the ball to left field. And every once in a while, lefties will come in on him, and he'll get jammed every once in a while.
Hot shot toward Pokey Reese. And boy, they're glad to have him in a Pirate uniform, Dave. He really has transformed this Pittsburgh defensive lineup, hasn't he?
No question. At second base, only one error in the year. As you take a look at the Corona defense, the Pirates in the outfield, Giles, Hermanson, and Makoviak in right. Ramirez, Wilson, Reese, and Young in the infield. Kendall behind the plate. And Jimmy Anderson, 26-year-old, on the mound for the Pirates.
One up, one down for Bill Miller. This is Bill's 10th game back from the disabled list after the knee surgery from spring training. And Bill with a couple of home runs and 6 driven in. And there's a high fly ball hit deep down the left field line, but I believe he's pulled it too far. He has. And Bill into a quick 2-strike hole. We'd like to welcome our affiliate, Mediacom Broadband, and their viewers in Iowa City, Iowa, to a very chilly Wrigley Field. Pirates have not been very nice house guests. They've scored 3 times here in the first inning.
Well, it's chilly, but I'll tell you what, this is the most comfortable I've been sitting up in this booth.
All spring. Man, it's been raw. 2 strikes to Miller. In fact, I was reading the paper the other day, and I believe on the weather page they said that since 1935 this has been the coldest May in the history of Chicago. Pretty remarkable. It's great being a part of history, isn't it, Dave?
Sure.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson wants a new baseball, and he will get it. You mentioned in our open the key to this guy, make him throw you some strikes. He's walked 22 men in 47 innings, only has struck out 17. But the number that jumps out at you is 8 home runs allowed.
Well, and coming off last year in 200 innings pitched, walked 83 guys, and not an overpowering fastball. However, it moves. That he has that tailing fastball to go along with that cutter.
Driven down the right field line. That ball might stay fair, and it won't. Seems like every ball the opposition hits down that line and finds the chalk. Every ball the Cubs hit won't stay in play.
It all comes out in the wash, Chip. The worm is turning.
Well, I said to some of the guys today, first the 3-2 to Miller. Hot shot toward Ramirez at third. It's right in his tracks. Good throw, 2 out. Said it's kind of nice. You can come to the ballpark and nobody has to say, all right, let's turn it around. Everybody can say, hey, let's keep it going. That's a subtle little saying, but boy, it sure means a lot to the psyche.
Yeah, and that's what's so frustrating about it. You're coming off a big win on Sunday against the Brewers, and all of a sudden you're in that 3-zip hole here in the first inning.
2 quick outs for Sammy Sosa. How has this Cub offense gone? Sammy Sosa's last RBI was 7 days ago. Not home run, RBI. He still has 24 of them. And Bonds and Berkman have tied him with 15 home runs. And this is one of our featured subjects of the Open. He's done a real good job against left-handed pitching.
Hitting 350 against them, and I think it's only natural for Sammy, the superstar, obviously, of the team, to all of a sudden put all the weight of the team on your shoulders. And when you do that, you start swinging the pitches out of the zone, trying to make something happen.
1-1 pitch. Over but low. 2 balls and a strike. The Cubs in 20 games at home have hit 14 home runs as a team in this ballpark. There's a drive to center field. Hermanson's going to have room, however, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom half of the first, and after 1, the Pittsburgh Pirates lead by 3.
Y'all ready for this?
Ready
for something new? The excitement? The value? It's Toyota's nationwide summer event featuring our stylish cars. And now get financing as low as 1.9% on the Rumi Sienna minivan. That 1.9 rate will save you a whole lot in financing. Or choose $1,000 cash back. Either way, you're saving on this amazing van that received the government's prestigious 5-star safety rating.
Y'all ready for this?
Get the Toyota you've been wanting now. We're ready. Are you?
When you run, when you run, when you run, run out to White Hen.
Right now, get a gallon of White Hen skim milk for just $1.99. Now, for a limited time, at your participating White Hen.
When you run, you run, you run out White Hen.
Get a gallon of skim milk for just $1.99.
When you run.
Oh, come on, let's get this guy. It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get ready for summer with Pennzoil Synthetic. Now at Jiffy Lube, the well-oiled machine.
Remember the thrill of collecting baseball cards? It's back with a vengeance. Introducing eTopps.com. This week, get these limited edition one-of-a-kind sports cards. Track their value on your own online portfolio. Look how previous cards have gone up. Get to eTopps.com today.
Whatever concerns you, inspires you, enchants you, or thrills you, there's a channel for you on AT&T Broadband. AT&T Broadband, where there's something for everyone.
Let's look at one of our Geico moments. Sammy Sosa from his autobiography. And boy, that first bonus check as a youngster growing up in the Dominican Republic meant a lot to Sosa and his family. And Pokey Reese lines out to Sosa for out number one. It's an amazing story of Sammy, and we talked about it so much in that 1998 season. Really, it was not just an American dream come true, but any person's dream come true. A young man that sold oranges and shined shoes, now making $14 or $15 million, and is one of the most acclaimed players in any sport in the United States.
Well, I remember playing against him when he first came up with the Chicago White Sox, or I actually faced him in AAA, and you knew that he was going to be some kind of special. Just the way he went about his business. And also, you know, you have a young guy, 19 years old at the time, and he's hitting balls to right field, just bullets. And at that time, obviously skinnier than he is now.
It's a man that stole 30 bases, hit 30 home runs, but was very much an untamed or an unbroken colt.
Used to call him Lobo, which means wild and raw in Spanish.
Lobo?
Lobo.
I thought it meant wolf.
And then, of course, the band Los Lobos.
Wouldn't that be the Wolves, or does that mean the wild and whatever?
I thought you knew French. They speak 5 different languages.
I'm a polyglot. Speak none of them right. No balls, 2 strikes to Anderson. Fired pitcher way outside. 1 and 2 your count. Joe Corneo begs to differ, but I think Lobo means wolf.
Oh, they're slang also.
Oh, okay. Okay. And in keeping with our animal and Spanish phrases, Corneo means rabbit. The 2-2. Little ground ball hit toward Bobby Hill at second. And he makes the play. 2 up and 2 down. Let's see handle the promo in Ingles.
Okay, Cubs fans. How am I doing so far?
Very, very well.
Plenty of good seats still available for Cubs games throughout the 2002 season. For tickets, call 1-800-THE-CUBS. Visit the Wrigley Field box office, any Chicagoland Sears or Sears Hardware store, or go to Cubs.com, the ultimate baseball website. Listen to game day audio and watch highlights direct and more exclusively at Cubs.com.
Or in Spanish, Cochoros.com. Here's Hermanson. He singled and scored the first Pittsburgh run in the first inning. Fouled back. Hermanson, you got to remember, he's only 24 years old.
He's made a little bit of an adjustment swinging the bat in spring training. He's really getting tied up on fastballs inside. And in working with Dave Clark, the hitting coach for the Pirates, has moved off the plate a little bit. Because we saw him last year at the end of the year, and he was right on top of that plate.
1 ball, 2 strikes from Beret.
First round selection in the 95 June draft for the Pirates. 10th overall pick. And those first 2 years in AAA, lights out. 60 home runs. Back in 98 and 99.
Well, and they figured with Giles, with Ramirez, with Hermanson, Jack Wilson, Pokey Reese, Chris Benson coming back, they'd have a real nice, solid core of young players. And down goes Hermanson. That'll retire the side. Beret gets them 1, 2, 3 in the second. We'll see if the heart of the Cub order can scratch across their first run of a 3-0 Pirate game.
Next, please.
Well, hello.
Oh, great. A talking gecko.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Accidents can happen anytime. That's why Geico's here 24 hours a day, every day. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We come from all over the world. Because we have doubts, fears. There are times when we need to confront them. And then there are times when we realize... One more! We've got better things to do.
Ryan Miller owns a Hyundai Sonata.
We did a ton of research on the internet. Things that you normally would pay extra for came standard.
An exceptional list of standard features and room for 5.
Very stylish looking, very roomy on the inside.
The Sonata also comes with the Freedom of America's Best warranty.
We just felt for our money, the Sonata was the best value.
The Hyundai Sonata at just $16,494. It's a lot more car. The Hyundai Sonata at $16,494. Your test drive is waiting.
It's going to be a slugfest at Fenway. Konerko and the White Sox. Nomar and the Red Sox. White Sox, Red Sox, tomorrow at 5:30 on Fox Sports Net.
It's the show that's changing the face of sports television forever. The best sports show, period, with hosts Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of ex-jocks. It's the only show that gives you sports comedy, commentary, scores, and highlights. The best sports show, period, tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Net. A quick strike to Fred McGriff as we mosey along to the bottom half of the second inning. All that Pittsburgh damage came in the first, which is their first 3-run inning since May 8th at Arizona.
Well, left-handed hitters hit .310 off of Anderson. The big reason lefties take away that changeup. You know, against right-handed hitters, likes to change speeds and throw that changeup down and away to right-handed hitters. As you take a look at the scouting report on him, he has that deceptive delivery to go along with that big curveball.
McGriff tries to line that one to left center field. Diving play by Hermanson. And he comes up with a dandy. 1 up, 1 man down.
Well, Hermanson with a great jump from center field, shading Fred McGriff towards right center. And the Crime Dog against left-handed pitching likes to go the other way.
So great play in center by the youngster. And here's Moises Alou. Alou hitting .161 with a couple of home runs. May seem like a minor detail, but as we keep moving along here, notice the shadows of that light tower creeping across the diamond toward the pitcher's mouth. First few innings figure to be a little more difficult for the hitter until the lights take effect. It's approaching 4:45 here in Chicago. And shadows creeping across the diamond. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, particularly with the breaking ball. When you have shadows, difficult to pick up the rotation of that slider or that curveball. Felt like Moises Alou in that last series, even though coming off a disappointing road trip of 3 for 22, had some pretty good at-bats.
Well, there's the start. First Cub base runner, Alou walks for Robert Machado. And for a ball club that has struggled to score, Dave, 3 runs right now must feel like 10 until they can put together some innings. Again, talking with Bill Miller, Cubs really have not been able to do to the opposing defenses what every defense hates to see happen, and that is first and third, first and third, first and third. That's just been such a missing ingredient in the Cub offensive attack so far this year.
Well, you get base runners, and you can do some things. Hit and run, sacrifice bunt, or whatever, just to get something, get that defense active, and put some heat on them.
Machado bunts at the plate. Interesting decision. Strike 1 to the Cub catcher, hitting .273.
Well, Ramirez playing a fairly deep third base. Be interesting to see here whether he creeps up a little bit. Still playing beyond that third base back.
Big hole in right center field if Machado can go the other way with an Anderson pitch. Young plays in front of the base runner at first, and Machado drives that one to right. Long run, Makoviak, and the wind plays a few tricks, but he makes the catch. And the quick throw back to first, not in time to get Moises Alou. So 2 outs for Bobby Hill.
You know, I really think against Jimmy Anderson, that's what you have to try and do against him. Try and take him the other way, because he has been wild inside, not able to establish that inside corner in his previous starts. So he can almost take away that inside half and look out over the plate and drive it to right center field.
Well, we saw what kind of energy Bobby Hill can bring a ball club over the final couple of innings up in Milwaukee. It was Bobby Hill that scored the last 2 Cub runs. And running into Bobby downtown yesterday, he said, I finally felt like in the last 2 or 3 innings of that game that I was being the kind of player that I want to be as a major league player. And it takes a young player some time to feel like they belong, doesn't it?
You know, the tendency when you get called up is you try to do too much.
Hot shot. Nobody gets that. In the hole with a 2-out hit is Hill. First and second for the Cubs for Mark Bellhorn. There's been a very pleasant power source for the Cubs at all 4 infield spots.
You get up here and you think, wow, I'm in the big leagues now. I got to be that much better. Well, you just have to trust your talent. In that time, you know, the threat of that bunt and Ramirez having to respect it there, playing even with the bag, and Hill was able to drive it through the hole.
Mark Bellhorn's hitting over 400 from the right side of the batter's box. 4 home runs, 12 driven in. And a base hit here could score Alou. Pretty good arms in the Pirate outfield. If nothing else, they're pretty accurate. And Jason Kendall out to settle down Anderson here.
I saw that last pitch from Anderson, and that's what left-handers, when they do struggle on that inside pitch, they have the tendency to really spike it down and in. So as a hitter, you can almost take that away from him, look out over the plate and drive something.
1 ball, no strikes to Bellhorn. Ball 2 with Jason Beret waiting next. Ball 3. Pitching very carefully with Beret, the Cub pitcher on deck. Bellhorn showing good plate discipline.
And I'm turning him loose right here. If he gets a pitch in his window, let her rip.
3-0. balls, 1 strike to the Cubs shortstop, Mark Bellhorn. And the runners will move with 2 outs now.
And that's what you have to battle as a hitter against a guy like Anderson. Threw a couple fastballs that actually cut inside the right-handed hitters. That time he threw a tailing fastball that moved away to Bellhorn.
Alou at second, Hill at first. The 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. Runners go. And it's ball 4. Anderson walks the number 8 man. And now no place to put Jason Bure, who's hitting 154. And he'll hit with 2 outs. The Buccos leading by 3. Walks are a problem for the Pirate pitcher. 2 of them in this inning. And now we'll see if Bure can knock home a run or 2 here in the 2nd inning.
Bure's last outing in St. Louis, I believe, hit a double to left center.
Chopper up the middle. Wilson at short. Fields and flips to Pokey Reese in time. And that will retire the side. Cubs load the bases with 2 outs, but fail to score. And after 2, the Pirates lead by 3.
Your local Ford store is making this the spring sales event you're never gonna forget. It's easier than 1, 2, 3. You get both 0% APR plus 1,000 cash back. Combine that with no interest and no payments for 90 days on select new Ford cars, trucks, and sport utilities. That's 0% APR plus 1,000 cash back. That's right, you get both. Combined with no interest and no payments for 90 days. And it's easy to see why Ford's got 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America. Get to your local Ford store by May 31st.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
I'm Al Piemonte, and at Al Piemonte Ford, I just made a special purchase, and it's for retail customers only, no wholesalers invited. I just bought 60 Escort station wagons, 1999, fully equipped. And right now you can buy one for $59.95. That's right, $59.95, or $100 down and $100 a month. That's right, $100 down and $100 a month at Al Piemonte Ford in Melrose Park. We bought more so you can save more. I'm Al Piemonte, and I guess I'm known in Chicago for giving great deals. Well, today I'm talking about the great deals at my Nissan dealership, Al Piemonte Nissan.
That's right, Al. Now at Al Piemonte Nissan, we've made a special purchase of pre-driven 2001 Altimas, and you can drive one for only $10,995, or for just $100 down and only $169 a month.
And you get those great deals at Al Piemonte Nissan on North Avenue at Manheim.
Public transportation to and from Cubs games. The CTA Red Line stops directly at Wrigley Field, right here at the Addison station. For night games at Wrigley, fans that do drive should take advantage of the remote parking operation at the DeVry Institute near Addison and Western, and a shuttle bus ride to and from Wrigley Field, all for $5. For more details, call the CTA hotline at 773-836-7000.
All 3 Pirate runs came in the first inning. Jason Bure got him 1, 2, 3 in the second. And now in the third, he'll face Wilson, Giles, and Ramirez. And now look at where the shadows are for the hitter. Big advantage for the pitchers now, you'd figure. They're pitching out of the bright sunshine, while the hitter is bathed in shadow. To the scrappy Pirate shortstop. That'll ever be as scrappy as Phil Garner, though.
Scrap iron. Boy, how about those ball clubs? Late 70s.
Omar Marino, Willie Stargell, Tony Pena was on those teams. Bill Madlock.
Dave Parker.
Dave Parker, of course. I'll never forget the throw he made in the All-Star game from right field. Remember that?
Yep.
I think he nailed Bob Boone, if I'm not mistaken, at King Dome.
had some great ball clubs. Still searching, though. A couple of playoff appearances in the early 90s, but they were a victim of the economics of the game. Lost a bunch of players. Lost Barry Bonds.
Hey, there's no crying in baseball.
There is at that age.
2-2 pitch. In the dirt. Full count. That is a determined young Cub fan.
That's a foul ball.
Not too happy with the way things have started. Ball 4. Beret loses Wilson. Leadoff walk begins the third inning for Pittsburgh. And here's Giles. Rolled into a force play that should have been a double play. I think first base umpire Mike Van Vliet missed it. And that allowed the Pirates to, in large part, score their 3 runs. There's that breaking ball. He got it over for a strike.
Pirates' last playoff appearance back in '92. Played the Reds in '90, Braves in '91, and the Braves also in '92. And who can forget that playoff game against the Atlanta Braves? Sid Bream scoring from second base.
Francisco Cabrera, the man with the base hit to left. Barry Bonds throw to Mike LaValliere. Eyelash too late. No balls and a strike to Brian Giles. Driven into the right field corner. That's going to be real trouble. Wilson can really run, and he's going to be able to score easily on this play. Giles around second. He's on his way to third. The Hill throw is off target. Giles with the triple makes it 4-0 Pittsburgh. 2 triples for Giles, 17 RBI.
Well, you throw that Fosh, and sometimes that's a difficult pitch to control. However, if you're going to miss, you want to miss away. And that one right in Giles' wheelhouse down the right field line. Well, you know, because hitters are out on their front foot against that pitch. And if you're bailing a little bit, you can still get after it.
There's a drive deep to right off the bat of Aramis Ramirez. He'll have successive sacrifice flies. Giles scores easily to make it 5-0 Pittsburgh. Can we start this thing over?
A do-over? Ramirez 112 RBIs last year. And this, his 11th, his second sacrifice fly of this ball game. Man on third, all you're doing is looking for something up and out over the plate to drive that run in.
So base is empty for Makoviak. He walked and scored back in the first. The Cubs really were hoping to see both Beret and Juan Cruz, today's Game 2 starter, right the ship. I don't think anyone in the organization, much less Major League Baseball, thought that in the middle of May, those 2 men would be a combined 1 for 13.
Well, particularly the way that Jason Beret threw the ball last year. That was really his second full season coming off arm problems. Last year, throwing 188 pitches in those 32 starts. Towards the end of last year, felt like his fastball was all the way back. Go along with that breaking ball. However, this year has really struggled. Chip, you mentioned those 2 starts that Beret did have that were good against the Pittsburgh Pirates to start off his year.
Kendall, a mile-high pop-up on the right side of the diamond. And Fred McGriff handles that cleanly. 2 runs, 1 hit, a walk, a triple, and a sac fly. Plates 2 more for the Pirates, and they have a huge 5-run lead very early.
Introducing Friends Fly Free from Southwest Airlines. Simply purchase a special discounted fare starting at $59 and a friend comes along for free.
You are now free to move about the country.
I'll go to the haircutting pros at Supercut. Just look what they did for my team. Hey, Super Team, Supercuts. Supercuts. Racing never looks so good. For a Supercut, come see the trained stylists at Supercut and follow driver Kerry Earnhardt this racing season.
The E-Class comes with scheduled maintenance included. Don't you wish everything in life did? Service unlike any other.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. It's comedy, commentary, and all the scores and highlights you could possibly stand.
It's not sex, but it's close.
The best damn sports show, period. Tonight at 10.
After our doubleheader, it's Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post. All the highlights and analysis from Eric Goodman and Mike Bilecki. Don't miss Fifth Third Bank Cubs Post right after our doubleheader here on Fox Sports Net. All the analysis of the first two games of this four-game series and a look forward, a look back, and a look in between at Mark Pryor's first day or so in the big leagues. 5-0, believe it or not. Pirates have the lead. Remember, the Cubs are playing a team that has scored the fewest runs, has the lowest batting average, and has hit the fewest home runs in the National League. They've got 5 against Jason Bure in the first 3 innings of this doubleheader opener.
Oh, with this big hole, trying to solve Jimmy Anderson. Anderson, a 9th-round selection by the Pirates in the '94 free agent draft, and it was a big year for him. Arbitration eligible after this year, and he's kind of been a enigma. Is that a good word? I don't know what it is in Spanish.
I'm not worried about it. You know what it is in English? 3 balls and a strike. You're the best. That's over at the knees. Full count. I think you're saying that they don't really know what they have in Anderson. Is that what you're... That's exactly what an enigma is.
17-game loser last year.
Roller to the mound. 1 man down. Cubs have hit 1, 2, 3 balls out of the infield in the game so far.
Oh, and that's when he is throwing the ball well, that's what he does. Throws that sinker, tailing sinker to right-handed hitters. But you're right, Chip. He's the type of guy where it is a pretty comfortable 0 for 4.
And I don't want to say he throws strikes because he walks more than he strikes out, but it seems to me, Dave, he lets you put the ball in play. And if you try to pull this guy,
no chance.
You're out. That's ball low to Miller. 2 balls, no strikes. The Cubs are down 5 runs. The last time the Cubs scored 8 runs or 5 runs or more was May 7th when they beat the Cardinals 8-0 here. In fact, the Cubs have scored 5 runs or more just 10 times all year. This is game number 42. 3 balls and a strike to Miller as we've reached 5 o'clock. And Bill pulls that foul past Gene Glenn over at third. One offer, congratulations to the coach, Ron Santo, and the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Last night at the downtown Chicago Marriott, Ronnie was honored as the JDRF's 2002 Man of the Year as Miller's aboard for Sosa. Ronnie has devoted his entire life, as he's joined by his grandson Sammy Brown, entire life to finding a cure for that debilitating disease. And last night's banquet and semi-roast earned nearly $700,000 for a cure for diabetes. So couldn't have picked a more deserving person, and it was just a wonderful night. Pat Hughes, the fine voice of the Cubs, was the MC of the event. John McDonough, Steve Carver were on the dais as well. It was just a wonderful evening. Things didn't go so well in the third for the Cubs, however. Nothing happening. After 3, Pittsburgh with a 5-run lead.
I do for every morning I get out of bed and put on the same clothes and drink the same coffee. I do for every day I have to sit in the same traffic. I do for the work and the work. I do...
Ready, Dad?
For that.
Introducing the new 155 horsepower Sea-Doo 4-stroke watercraft. Cleaner, quieter, cooler. What have you done for your family lately? Buy a new Sea-Doo watercraft now and get free gas.
Y'all ready for this?
Ready for the adventure, the value, the variety? It's Toyota's nationwide summer event featuring our versatile SUVs. Right now, get financing as low as 1.9% on the popular 4Runner. That 1.9 rate will save you lots in financing. Or maybe you prefer $1,500 cash back. Any way you choose. Now's your opportunity to get great savings on this amazing SUV.
Y'all ready for this?
Get the Toyota you've been wanting now. We're ready. Are you?
I have something to tell you.
You first.
No, you go.
I'm not ready to get married.
Okay.
So, what was your news?
I won the lottery.
$63 million. Think about it this way, man. After taxes, that's only like $28, $30 million.
That's it.
Yeah.
Life is best told over a great-tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Shannon? Hey, it's Steve. What's going on?
The wait on the north side is finally over. Mark Pryor makes his major league debut, but Giles and the Pirates are out to spoil the party. Cubs Pirates tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net Plus.
Time now to revisit the Smirnoff game plan that we talked about during the pregame show, and this has been a pattern all year by when the team isn't winning, it's hard to hit your keys.
I think you got to blame the whole season on Dave and myself. You know, we're trying to pull some things out of our hat here, and it's not working. I said for us to score early, get the crowd into it and everything. We're down by 5. Dave, what do you have?
Well, my game plan of running against Jimmy Anderson can't do it really when you're down by 5 runs. And Jason Bray tried to establish that breaking ball early on, but was hurt by a couple hanging breaking balls, and the Cubs have a hole to get themselves out of.
Here's Kevin Young. Young flat out to right. And with all the talk and the hype about Mark Pryor's arrival today, 5 Mark Pryors aren't going to help you score runs. If you can't get people out and you can't drive them in, you're going to have problems, and we've got big ones tonight. Kevin Young out onto Waveland Avenue. That's only his 4th home run of the year, and the Pirates lead it by 6.
Well, Kevin Young coming into this ball game hitting 187 because he struggled hitting the fastball. And that particular pitch from Jason Bray, hanging breaking ball. I think he's got that. Hits the slider well, and he got one.
Dizzy Dean would have said that's a slider that slid. And it got crushed. So Pittsburgh with just 22 home runs all year. It's their first here in the 4th, and Jason Bray, you got to start to be concerned, Dave. He has not been able to put much together at all year long. Bellhorn at short takes care of Pokey Reese. And 1 in, 1 out, bases empty for Jimmy Anderson. A look at today's Aflac trivia question. It is, who holds the Cubs record for most base hits in a doubleheader?
Mick Kelleher. That's my answer, and I'm sticking with it.
Are you going to stick with it if I tell you you're wrong?
I kind of knew I was wrong.
Oh, okay. 1 ball, no strikes to Jimmy Anderson.
So you know the answer.
Reading is fundamental, pal. And we can't reveal the answer because of our contractual obligations to Aflac. So we'll have to wait to the format says we can do it, which is the bottom half of the center.
Davey Rosello?
No. Not Dave Kingman, not Dave Rosello, not Dave Otto. Ground ball again to short. Bellhorn takes care of the Pirate pitcher, who has a whopping 6-run lead.
Paul Popovich?
Nope. Not Glenn Beckert, not Randy Hundley. Keep going.
Johnny Callison?
No. Not Jose Cardinal.
Give me an era.
Huh?
Give me an era. Recent?
No. 60s and 70s. Late 50s, 60s, and 70s. Ball 1 to Hermanson. He was in the ballpark today.
In uni?
Yeah.
God. Is that a hint for me? I couldn't read it.
Line drive down the left field line. Hermanson will have his second base hit. It's a double for the Pirates center fielder.
Well, it's no secret right now Jason Bray's not throwing the ball well. However, you're down by 6 runs in this ball game. You have 9 more innings after this. So you're a starter in that first ball game. If you give up some runs early, you're going to stay out there.
Yeah, you got to take it for the team now. You don't want to burn up the bullpen in game 1 of a doubleheader. The Cubs, see, the next off day will not be until June 6th when we travel to Seattle. And, Ron Mahay is going to get up now and at least start to loosen up. There are 2 outs. There's a run in, and Wilson 1 for 1 with a walk and a run score. Just when you thought the Cubs were ready to, again, maybe take advantage of the breaks they made for themselves and got in Milwaukee. Remember, the Brewers were 1 fly ball away from winning that game in their last at-bat. It just has not worked out that way. Barre's thrown the ball very, very poorly. 6 runs on 6 hits.
Well, what I see from Jason Beret is, you know, last year had that good live fastball. And what was encouraging about last year, coming off a year in which he had 30 starts, and then last year with 32 starts, your arm starts coming back after that. And he's not going to be the same pitcher as he was with the White Sox, where he had that good fastball, and he was able to challenge guys upstairs with it. Now he has to change a little bit as a pitcher, changing speeds more, throwing your breaking ball along with your fosh. But boy, it's always nice as a pitcher to have that security blanket where you can throw that fastball right by guys. And right now, Jason does not have that fastball where he can go to upstairs and climb the ladder on guys.
Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Despite those lovely faces in the crowd, things aren't looking too good on the field. 6-run hole to the lowly Pirates. And Wilson backs away from that pitch that slipped out of Barre's hands. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, this is a pattern right here against Jack Wilson coming into this ball game, hitting 191 and obviously struggling, boy.
And again, you've got the pitcher pitching in the bright sunshine. In that shadow, it's awfully tough for the hitter to recognize the pitch.
Hey, throw that fastball.
Little ground ball hit toward Bill Miller at third, and that will mercifully retire the side. Kevin Young hits a home run out onto Waveland Avenue. Hermanson with a 2-out double is left stranded after 3 1/2. Pittsburgh has...
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Cubs Care doesn't see things as they are. We see things as they could be. So we turn vacant lots into baseball fields. Help girls build their athletic skills. And get kids off streets and into after-school programs. The way we see it, there's potential everywhere. It's just a matter of how you look at it.
Oh, come on, let's get this guy. It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get ready for summer with Pennzoil Synthetic. Now at Jiffy Lube, the well-oiled machine.
It's going to be a slugfest at Fenway. Konerko and the White Sox. Nomar and the Red Sox. White Sox, Red Sox, tomorrow at 5:30 on Fox Sports Net.
All right, Dave. You got a chance to extend your streak of correct Aflac trivia question answers to one.
Steve Olivares.
No. Billy Williams holds the Cubs record for most base hits, had 8 of them against the Houston Astros in 1972, and Cubs could use a bunch of them right here. Trailing by 6, Fred McGriff leads things off, and he looks at a ball low. Billy Williams will be one of our special guests tomorrow night as he and Tyson Chandler are going to talk during our ball game. Pokey Reese to a knee. Another ground ball out. 1 up, 1 down. Fred McGriff is 0 for 2. Want to wish a very happy birthday to Steve Mazer, the proud father of WGN Radio's Andy Mazer, who does such a great job of hosting the pregame show on the Cubs' far-flung radio network, and is also taking good care of Ron Santo on the road. So, Mr. Mazer, happy birthday, happy number 60, and we're very happy to have your son along. He's a terrific kid. First pitch swinging Alou. Another ground ball. Another easy out. And boy, these are fun games for teams like the Pirates to play. They don't score this many this often. And with Anderson just throwing ground ball after ground ball, the Cubs' run of futility against lefties continues, and they've got a lot of spring in their step, and the Cubs still searching everywhere they can for answers.
Well, the Pirates running into a buzzsaw in Houston, losing the first 3 games, and then finally winning that 4th game against that Astro Ball Club. All of a sudden, that Houston team with some pretty good pitching.
A strike to Robert Machado. Anderson's never lost to the Cubs. He's 2-0 lifetime. And it's going to take a big comeback for the Cubs to change this score around. 6-0. Pittsburgh has the lead.
Well, when you go out to that mound and you have a 6-run lead, it's almost as if you automatically find your rhythm. You're that much more comfortable on the mound. Able to change speeds. However, this game's 1-0 for a tight ball game. That's when you put pressure on that pitcher.
Machado skies that one to the right side. Young is out. Pokey Reese takes over, and it's a very easy 4th inning. We go to the 5th. Pittsburgh 6, Cubs nothing.
Worksite technicians are dedicated, very, very dedicated.
Hey, got a flat.
The E-Class, like every Mercedes-Benz, comes with roadside assistance for the life of the car. Service unlike any other.
Is this your idea of getting fit? At Gottlieb Health and Fitness Center, we take a different approach to exercise. Our members come in all ages, shapes, and sizes, and we emphasize safety and fun, not drudgery and pain. We'll start you with fitness testing, design a workout plan for you, then give you plenty of help. And here are the fun parts: low-impact aerobics on land and in the water, racquetball, Tai Chi, and so much more. We're the Healthier Health Club.
Come in for a tour and a free workout pass.
The best price is on a new Buick at Maury Edelson Cadillac Buick Oldsmobile in Hodgkins. Buy this new LeSabre for just $19,995, which includes a $3,000 rebate or 1.9% financing. Or drive out in a new Rendezvous for just $21,495 with a $2,000 rebate or 1.9% financing. Simply the best experience, always the best price. At Maury Edelson Cadillac, Oldsmobile.
And Buick in Hodgkins.
Damn Sports Show, period. Tonight at 10.
Big first inning for the Pirates. They scored 3 times. The big blow, a Jason Kendall double with 2 outs. That scored Giles and Makoviak. And then Kevin Young with a big exclamation point. A solo home run in the 4th inning out onto the street and left. Makes it a 6-run Pirate lead heading to the 5th inning. And Dave, there's the rest of your 4-game summary.
And Jason Bray, up to this point, giving up those 6 runs to go along with 6 hits from the Pirates. And we talked about this Pirate ball club really struggling offensively. 16th in average, 16th in runs, last in home runs. But when you don't make good pitches, you're going to get hurt.
Brian Giles leads off the Pittsburgh 5th. He's been on base twice, and he has scored twice. They have built their team and their ballpark around this guy. You think about that short porch down the right field line by the river. They anticipate seeing Brian Giles pound home run ball after home run ball into those bleacher seats in right.
Boy, talk about some of the players that the Cleveland Indians have traded away, and certainly a successful franchise the last 8 or 9 years, but at the same time, they've traded away Brian Giles for Ricardo Rincon, traded away Richie Sexson, Sean Casey. For a while there, that Cleveland Indian farm system was pumping out some pretty good hitters.
But you think about who they had. Where would those guys have played? You had Jim Thome, you had Robbie Alomar, you had Omar Vizquel, you had Travis Fryman, Sandy Alomar Jr. behind the plate. Then in the outfield, you had Bell, you had Lofton, and you had Manny Ramirez. Where would a guy like Brian Giles be able to be an everyday player? A Russell Branyan, a Richie Sexson. So that's the other area where a team like Cleveland used its farm system to fill the holes that they didn't have the availability to fix themselves. So they would trade a Giles for a left-handed relief pitcher, Ricky Rincon, because they thought that would be another piece that would get them to the World Series and to the Ultimate Championship.
And Sexton for Bob Wickman.
Jason Beret and Steve Woodard. And they made that deal late in, I believe, the year 2000, when they made a great second-half surge and very nearly made the postseason, the final weekend of the regular season. But remember, I'll never forget Lou Gorman when he was the general manager of the Boston Red Sox. He's the man that so many people in Boston continue to just bury because he traded Jeff Bagwell for Larry Anderson. Oh, so many years ago. And what Gorman said really rings true. The general manager's responsibility is to try to win now. You don't try to necessarily win 5 years from now, because in all likelihood, if you don't, you won't be there 5 years from now. So he always felt that if you had a chance to put together a team that could win and get to the World Series, you bite the bullet and you get there, because that's the one year you can control. And while he knew that he was giving away a pretty good player in Jeff Bagwell, he never in his wildest dreams imagined that he'd blossom into the perennial all-star that he is. And Larry Anderson was a perfect addition to that Boston ball club. Now, of course, they didn't win the World Series. Anderson's been out of baseball as a player for a long time. Jeff Bagwell starring for many years in Houston, but Luke Orman did his job.
Well, just like John Smoltz and Doyle Alexander. Tigers made the playoffs that year because of Doyle Alexander, and they lost, obviously, John Smoltz, but at the same time, that one year, they got to the dance.
That's it. And it's always fun in sports to Monday morning quarterback or second guess or whatever term you want to use, but you don't know if a player is going to have a great season one year to the next. I mean, a player like a Sammy Sosa or a Frank Thomas when healthy, those guys are just remarkable in their consistency. Fly ball to center. 2 men down. Back to first will go Giles as Makoviak is retired for the second time in the game. And we look at this Cub team. I don't think anyone in their wildest imaginations thought that Fred McGriff would struggle as mightily as he has, or Moises Alou would. The fact of the matter is they have, and everyone in this town is very quick to blame the manager or management. Well, those same people January 15th were saying, hey, those are great signings. The Cubs might win the division and go to the World Series. I certainly was one of them that thought that was possible.
Particularly with Fred McGriff last year, when the Cubs were able to get the crime dog. I always look at it, you're a ball club and you're in the hunt. And it's like a poker game. If you need that 2 of spades to fill that straight flush, that 2 of spades means a lot to you as a poker player, and same as an organization, really. The Cubs felt like Fred McGriff was the missing piece of the puzzle. And at the time, certainly it was. Unfortunately, the Cubs did not play well down the stretch, and it certainly was not the fault of Fred McGriff at the end of last year, but, you know, that was a trade that I give the Cubs a ton of credit for making because it gave them their best shot.
Ground ball to Bellhorn at short in between Hop, and he takes care of Jason Kendall. We are halfway through this ball game, and unfortunately the Cubs have only 1 hit. Pirates have 6 and 6 runs with which to play.
It's tough not having a car. With immediate claim service, Geico gets you back on the road fast. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Take me fishing, because our boat's cooler than any video game.
Take me fishing, and make me feel 16 again.
Take me fishing because I miss my boy.
Your local Ford store is making this the spring sales event you're never gonna forget. Get the best deal of the year on a new Ford Windstar. You get both 0% APR and $1,000 cash back. Plus, get a free family entertainment system worth over $900. 0% APR and $1,000 cash back. Combined with no payments for 90 days, and it's easy to see why Ford's got 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America. Get to your local Ford store by May 31st.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Pennzoil. We're driving protection. Corona Extra. Miles away from the ordinary. And by your local Chicagoland Mercedes-Benz dealer.
6-0 in favor of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hard to believe it. This is a Pirate ball club that in their last 5 games had scored a grand total of 17 runs. They're more than a third of the way there through 1/2 of game 1 of this doubleheader. So if the Cubs are going to get anything done, they better start pretty quickly here as Bobby Hill leads off the 5th. David Avila of Chicago is our Toyota Fan of the Game contestant. If the Cubs score in the 5th, David wins a Fox Sports Net Toyota prize package, including a hat and a T-shirt. Two balls, no strikes.
Well, Bobby Hill, a naturally right-handed hitter, started switch hitting, senior in high school. And I love to see young kids learn how to switch hit. Boy, how valuable you are as a player to be able to swing the bat from both sides. And, you know, even though he got started late switch hitting, feels like, you know, his left side has turned into his power side. And with the amount of at-bats that Bobby Hill gets swinging the bat left-handed, it's turned into probably his stronger side all around.
Two. Pulled foul past Gene Glynn with Barre's spot due up third here in the 5th. You figure he'll be taken down for Ron Mahay. Two pitch. That's in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Dave, you seen any good movies lately?
I just watch animated movies now, Chip.
Oh, that's it. Hey, good at bat by Hill. There's your 4th walk from Anderson. Again, the Cubs have not made him work all that hard. 4 walks and 4 innings plus, trailing by 6. There's a good start.
You know, and Spin Williams, the pitching coach for the Pirates in his 2nd year, felt like last year with Jimmy Anderson overcoached him a little bit. As you take a look at Bill Verdon, Quail, who's been in baseball for a long time, the bench coach for the Pirates. But Spin Williams was talking about just trying to do too much with the pitcher. And I think, you know, that happens a lot in this ball game where you get somebody, a rookie or 2nd-year player, and you try and do too much with them. And what happens is you end up working on your mechanics, and then all of a sudden you just get all out of whack. I think when you get up to the big leagues here, it just has to be that little minor adjustment. What they were working with Anderson was trying to be a little quicker to the plate.
Quick strikes to Mark Bellhorn. Cubs need a prolonged inning. They have only 1 hit. That was a Bobby Hill single past Ramirez at 3rd. Swung on, hit high in the air, right center field, and easily handling it is Hermanson. 1 out. Chris Steins will come off the bench and bat for Beret. Jason went 5 innings, 6 runs earned, 6 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 home run. Pitches for Beret, 49 of them strikes. Here's Chris Steins. He's hitting 197.
Now, Pittsburgh does something a little strange, in my opinion, and certainly with a 6-run lead. But what they do is, with the left-handed pitcher up, they play that first baseman off the bag, and if he goes over to first base, the first baseman moves over to first base. But they even do that in tight ball games. And I know as a former left-handed pitcher, sometimes it's difficult to throw over to first base if you don't have a target over there. Tough to hit a moving target.
Yeah, I really don't like that play particularly. Seems to me like with that moving target, with the ball, the base runner, and the tag all having to happen at the same time, it requires so much more synchronization, and the odds of messing the play up rise exponentially as a result.
Well, for left-handed pitchers, Chip, that synchronization, you got that right. That's tough.
Swinging bunt back to the mound. He'll take the easy play at first. High throw. Young held the bag, though. He'll take second. 2 men out. And Corey Patterson is due.
Sometimes that pitcher doesn't give a true throw over to first base. You almost lob it over there, and that's when you get in trouble. For all you young pitchers out there, hey, throw a good, hard strike over to first base.
Well, Dave Kaplan, fine host of Sports Central on WGN Radio and Channel 5, eagerly approached our broadcast booth, telling us that we've had our first major spill of the day in the Cubs radio booth. I'll give you 2 guesses as to who's responsible. Way outside, ball 1, strike 1.
I got my guess.
Well, let me hear it.
Ronnie.
Very good. The man is the Joseph Hazelwood of eating. It's just amazing. Everywhere he goes, a spill follows. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What's he wearing? Is it soup?
Nope. Now, something that doesn't stain, like coffee. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one got Kendall. He's all right. Patterson stays alive. Cubs need a hit to get on the board here. You've got good speed out at second base.
Food?
Coffee.
Oh.
Does coffee count as food? Swing and a miss. Patterson swung at a ball that nearly bounced up there, and Anderson's qualified for the win. 6-0. Pittsburgh the lead.
If there's lots of places that you would like to see,
fly Southwest Airlines, because friends fly free.
For romance.
Give it a chance.
Fly so you can dance. Fly so you can cry.
Fly, because it's America.
And if you fly Southwest Airlines,
your friend flies free.
Announcing Friends Fly Free from Southwest Airlines. Simply purchase a special discounted fare starting at $59 and a friend comes along for free.
You are now free to move about the country.
Here's what I know. The only exciting part of a basketball game is the final 2 minutes. And anyone who owns a sports franchise should be a fan first and then run the team that way. There's a big difference between the right girl and the right now girl. Do what you love and don't apologize for it. Music is religion. Karaoke is a cult. Well done is overdone. And if you're going to draw a map of your life, do it in pencil and then redraw it over and over again. Nah, that's not what I want to say.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom.
CarX brakes for life. Never pay for brake pads or shoes again from just $69.95. CarX, more than you thought, for less than you'd think.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
You root for them, believe in them. Now you can invest in them. Introducing eTopps.com. This week, get these limited edition, one-of-a-kind sports cards. Track their value on your own online portfolio. Look how previous cards have gone up. Get to eTopps.com today.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. It's comedy, commentary, and all the scores and highlights you can possibly stand.
It's not sex, but it's close.
The best damn sports show, period. Tonight at 10.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Sammy Sosa, an autobiography, was the giveaway today, and you kids got your free copies of this. First of all, do you like Sammy Sosa? Is he your favorite player? Yeah! Are you guys going to read this book? You betcha. Yeah, of course. That's awesome. What are you hoping to learn from this? Experience. What it's like to be a Major League ball player? What it's like to be Sammy Sosa? Yeah. Of course. All right, I'm sure you kids are going to start reading this tomorrow, after school, of course. Chip and Dave, back to you.
All right, Gail, thank you very much. And kids, no matter what Mr. Otto says, a Lobo does not mean, what is it you said?
Wild and raw.
Yeah, no, that's bovine scatology, pal. Sixth inning rolls around. Ron Mahay will face Young, Reese, and Jimmy Anderson, who, by the way, has given up only one hit today. Ron Mahay is the second Cub pitcher of Game 1.
Wait a minute. Wait, what? Bovine Scientology? What'd you say?
No, not Scientology. You're a college graduate. You can figure that out.
But it took me 6 years.
Ground ball to third. Gobbled up. And out is Young. 4 out. Number 1.
Well, if you like golf, stakes, and baseball, Don Baylor and Joe Girardi want you. On June 17th, Baylor and Girardi will host the second annual Don Baylor Celebrity Golf Classic at Cantini Golf Course in Wheaton. Each foursome will team with a favorite sports or media celebrity for 18 glorious holes on a championship course. Food and beverages on the course will be provided by Smith & Walensky Restaurant and Budweiser. All proceeds from the event will benefit Cubs Care and the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. For more information on sponsorships or foursome, call Jennifer Oglesby at the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation at 312-236-4491. How am I looking, Chip? You know,
you're looking great. You sound terrible.
I've only played Cantini about 20 times. And I butchered it.
Well, hey, man, it's just one of those days all the way around, unfortunately, as Pokey Reese stands in. Oh. Just one of those days.
I'll tell you what, that Cantini golf course.
Very nice. Oh. And we're looking forward to that event. Don does such a great job with it. Down goes Reese. 2 up, 2 down for Mahay. His first strikeout. Our good friends at Harry Carey's will also be providing a great post-golf tournament banquet. Chef Andrew Coates will be whipping up something special, so belly on up for all the chicken Vesuvio you can handle, and if you need to warm up, you might as well head on out to the downtown restaurant at Rosemont too, just to get your golf appetite in shape.
That's right.
No balls and a strike to Anderson, who is 0 for 2. You don't think Lloyd McClendon will let the Cubs start this one over, huh, from the very beginning?
The old do-over.
Yeah. 2 strikes.
Remember playing that as a kid? You know, you have do-overs all the time. Right field closed.
Yeah. If only it were that easy.
Well, Mahay, this is a good opportunity for him to get some work in. Has not pitched in a week. His last outing on May 14th against the Cardinals.
Now watch this. Who says crime doesn't pay? Shot to short. Bellhorn dives, gathers, throws. Got his man. Good play at short by Mark Bellhorn. And the Pirates are retired in order in the 6th. Miller, Sosa, and McGriff coming up in a 6-run Pirate game.
Your local Ford store is making this the spring sales event you're never gonna forget. It's easier than 1, 2, 3. You get both 0% APR plus 1,000 cash back. Combine that with no interest and no payments for 90 days on select new Ford cars, trucks, and sport utilities. That's 0% APR plus 1,000 cash back. That's right, you get both. Combined with no interest and no payments for 90 days. And it's easy to see why Ford's got 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America. Get to your local Ford store by May 31st.
The wait on the north side is finally over. Mark Pryor makes his major league debut, but Giles and the Pirates are out to spoil the party. Cubs Pirates tomorrow at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net Plus.
Would you believe you can buy a 2002 Taurus for only $12,595 fully equipped, and that's a Sport Edition Taurus? That's right, $12,595 for a 2002 Taurus, or $100 down and $199 a month.
Who do you know that's got the best price? Chicagoland knows Alphamonte.
Alphamonte Ford in Melrose Park, 25th to North Avenue.
For richer or poorer, in sickness and health, from this day forward, for all the days of my life.
By the power vested in me by the great state of Nevada, I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride, Chief.
Funjet Vacation Summer Sale, Treasure Island, $379.95. 4 nights, Aaron Hotel, additional hotels available. To leave the city, see Nitty, 708-456-2950.
Reinventing sports talk, as you know.
It's the show that's changing the face of sports television forever. The best sports show period with host Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of ex-jocks. It's the only show that gives you sports comedy, commentary, scores, and highlights. The best sports show period tonight at 10 on Fox Sports Net. Ben Affleck and Bill O'Reilly among the guests. After our game tonight, 6-0, Jimmy Anderson works into the 6th inning. Let's see if the Cubs, Dave, can bow up and pick up their second hit or more here. It's hard to believe. Just one hit for the Cubs on the day.
And that was off the bat of Bobby Hill in the 2nd inning. Ground ball between short and third.
A strike to Bill Miller, 0-1 your count.
And one of the things that I forgot to do, Chip, before the game, talked to a couple of the Pirate players about, and I need to get clarification on this, but I'm going to tell you the story anyways, because it's...
Never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
That's right. Well, remember Ramon Martinez, pitcher last year for the Pirates? He had a wonderful career with the Dodgers.
Yeah, yeah. Little blooper down the right field line. That's going to spray foul.
Ramon is out of the game now, and I guess he built a plant in the Dominican Republic, like a glass and window plant.
Okay.
And so he's selling windows, and well, the problem was he built the plant on top of a hill. And everything was running along smoothly until they actually had to ship the windows out.
Miller drives that right center field. Good jump by Hermanson. One man out.
Apparently the hill was kind of bumpy, and so they could never get the windows to the bottom of the hill because they'd all break. Is that beautiful?
And he's not even left-handed. I mean... Yeah, we saw him last year. I think he made his last appearance against the Cubs up in Pittsburgh. When he came out of a ball game.
Boy, what a terrific career he had. But as far as business acumen, I'm not so sure. Can you imagine that first trip down the hill?
Oh. No balls and a strike to Sosa. Hard to believe it. Sammy's last RBI a week ago today. But as many ball player would tell you, Dave, life after baseball can be a real pain.
Boy, I called Kevin Tapani a couple weeks ago. He wasn't home. He was, no. I called Tap. He wasn't home. He was looking at riding lawnmowers. How about that?
The country squire, Kevin Tapani. He's going to be a 7th inning stretch guest conductor later on this summer.
Can't wait to see him.
I figure a man of Kevin's means would have a Gardner handle that stuff for him.
No, not Tap.
Sosa drives it foul to the right side. Hey, great catch in the front row. Give that man a contract. Great grab off Sosa's bat.
There really has been some terrific plays in the stands. We saw that woman snatch the ball right out of.
Yeah, I mean, when your fans are having a better day than the people they've paid to watch, you know it's a rough day at the office. 3 balls, 2 strikes. All eyes focusing on Sosa. 15 home runs on the year. Line drive to Ramirez. 2 outs. And Ramos in the big leagues, you got to get 3 outs before you head to the dugout.
Yeah, new rules this year.
He's been gone from the game for a while. He was on the DL.
And then you kind of play it off.
Oh, sure.
When that happens. You take that jog into the dugout and then, well, you just want to get a better angle to make this throw.
Either that or his hand hurts. He's just trying to make sure he can feel the paw. 2 outs. Here's McGriff, 0 for 2. Great diving catch by Hermanson in left center. Robbed him of a single for sure and maybe more. Cubs loaded the bases with 2 outs in that 2nd inning. Did not score and do not have a hit since. They're trying to make Anderson work, but he has the luxury of a real big lead. Ball 3, 3-0 to McGriff, who came through big last time we met up in Milwaukee. He homered in the 40th different ballpark in his major league career. He tied Carl Yastrzemski on the all-time home run list. And he moved into a tie with Joe Cronin for 50th all-time in RBIs in his major league career.
And what a big home run that was for the Cubs. First pitch off from Vizcaino, Milwaukee Brewers relief pitcher. Tied that ball game up.
Two pitch. Strike 3. McGriff was ahead 3-0. Anderson rallies and strikes him out. 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. The Cubs still have only 1 hit.
Len Hurley owns a Hyundai Elantra.
I researched it on the internet. There was no comparison.
The competition can't match the freedom of America's best warranty.
The warranty for the Elantra was the best out there.
It also has a long list of features, including front and side airbags. It's the only car in its class that has them standard.
The gas mileage is excellent. It's a great value for the money.
The Hyundai Elantra at just $13,044. It's a solid value.
Freedom is calling, yeah.
Get $750 cash back or choose 0.9% APR financing now.
We come from all over the world because we have doubts, fears. There are times when we need to confront them. And then there are times when we realize,
one more.
We've got better things to do.
Let's get this guy. It's got to be over 100 degrees out there. You have any idea what that does to an engine?
Need a motor oil for hot temperatures? We developed one. Pennzoil Synthetic resists thinning to protect engines in hot summer conditions. Pennzoil, we're driving protection.
Get ready for summer with Pennzoil Synthetic. Now at Jiffy Lube.
the well-oiled machine.
It's going to be a slugfest at Fenway. Konerko and the White Sox. Nomar and the Red Sox. White Sox, Red Sox, tomorrow at 5:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Time now to revisit the Smirnoff game plan that we talked about during the pregame show. We talked about it during the fourth inning. Not much has really changed. Still a one-hitter, and this Jimmy Anderson guy, give him a ticket to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Dave, I got Corey 0 for 3, Freddie's 0 for 3. We're losing 6-0, and I did buy a lawn tractor last weekend when I went home, too. I'm serious. I did.
Nothing runs like a deer, right?
Pi told me that's how he relaxes, riding his tractor.
You can take my game plan and blow it up.
Chad Hermanson takes the ball low. 2 balls, no strikes. We're in the 7th inning already.
Well, I like he's probably got like a third of an acre, and he's got a riding lawnmower.
A foul tip. 2 balls and a strike. You would never ride a riding lawnmower, would you?
It's too complicated. Keep it simple.
Leadoff walk. That's 4 walks issued by the Cubs staff today. You may have to start breaking into some Santo material because Ronnie, the last couple games, has been remarkably poised, remarkably calm. He's been talking about Chinese philosophy. Ronnie's been deep into Confucianisms. Not Confucianisms, which we know are a big part of his life, but Confucius.
I'm sorry, Chip. I'm a little short on.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, maybe you. I guess that's what that's what the color analyst is supposed to do, right?
Tomorrow I will come with.
You have to philosophize about this kind of stuff.
Well, you just take one game at a time, Chip.
Now, see, that's pretty good. Play them where they ain't, hit them where they ain't, all that kind of stuff.
Should never step on the lines. Never talk to a pitcher if he has a no-no.
Hot shot, base hit. Wilson has his second hit of the ball game. Hermanson holds at second. 2 on, nobody out for Brian Giles in the 7th inning. I never did get the never talking to the pitcher if there's a no-hitter thing.
It's karma. You don't want to.
Well, now you're getting into the realm of the supernatural, too. I mean, see, you just got to let this out, Dave.
Okay, well, never. And if you're struggling in the big leagues, call your manager Skip. They like that. It may not get sent down.
Did it work with Leland?
No, it didn't.
Oh. Just thought I'd ask.
I tried everything.
I'll bet. Popped up out of play.
Like the time I'm hanging out my locker after a game after giving up about 5.
That didn't happen often, I know.
And hearing the manager say, why can't we get rid of Otto?
Thanks. Way outside to Giles, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm trying to find some stuff on the internet for you just to give you a head start. But the borrowed computer I'm using does not allow me to get to the World Wide Web. It's very, very frustrating, I must admit. Giles backs away from that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nothing is worse than being computerless. In the modern day, fly ball deep to left. Alou on a full sprint. Diving try, can't get it. He slams into the wall, and he is still down, and that's a big problem. 2 runs are in. Giles around third. They're going to go ahead and wave him. It's going to be an inside the park home run. Moises Alou hurt in the left field corner, and the Pirates have put a hurting on the Cubs, literally and figuratively. A head-first dive by Alou. He slams into the brick wall. Giles circles the bases, and Pittsburgh leads it by 9.
Boy, you hate to see a left fielder or any fielder do what Moises Alou just did. And in tribute to Moises Alou, you're down 6 runs. You don't dive in that situation, but Moises Alou is a gamer, and we saw him hurt his back in Montreal on a similar type play going to the turf, and let's hope that back doesn't linger again. But my goodness, you know, you're a pitcher and you see somebody go like Moises Alou did right there. I mean, that is just flat out. That's a gamer right there. Golly.
First inside the park home run for Giles in his career. First inside the park home run for the Pirates since Brant Brown did it in 1999. And it's the first inside the park home run in this ballpark since late last year when Sammy Sosa hit one, you recall, for the Cubs. So Alou is hurting, and so are the Cubs. 9-0. And he is going to have to come out of the ball game, it appears. And bad times continue. Roosevelt Brown will come on and play left and bat fifth.
You know, it's not a smart decision by diving in that situation, but how can you tell a guy like Moises Alou not to try and make that play? You know, you get between those white lines and you just get after everything.
We were talking about karma before that play, and right now the only karma going for the Cubs, Dave, is bad karma. It's just been a disastrous first 6 weeks of this season. And, you know, if the Cubs are going to be without Alou for any stretch of time, it's going to be even more difficult for this Cub team to score runs, which has been the overwhelming problem for this team. So walk, a single, and an inside the park home run for Brian Giles. And Pittsburgh running away with it in game 1. Ramirez 0 for 1 with 2 sac flies and 2 RBIs, and he's going to be 0 for 2. One away here in the 7th. Downers Grove South football team, the 2001 Illinois Class 8A state champions, will be our 7th inning stretch guest conductors today. And a special treat in that, Sam Carson Jr., one of those football players, is one of Roosevelt Brown's cousins. So we'll hear those fellas sing and then move on to the bottom half of the inning. Rob Makoviak, the batter for Pittsburgh. 1 ball, no strikes.
We can have the whole squad in here? The whole squad?
I don't know about that. Pittsburgh, the lowest scoring team in the National League. Their season high in runs is 9. They've got it again today. They did that against the Phillies in late April. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Makoviak. That ball driven in the air to left. Rosie Brown will be tested. 2 outs. In fact, the Pirates, the lowest scoring team in all of baseball. Coming into play tonight But they are in real good shape today. Here's Kendall. He's doubled home 2. He's popped out and grounded out. 9-0. The Pirates with the lead. Eight hits for Pittsburgh, only 1 for the Cubs. And as soon as we get an update on Moises Alou, we'll pass that along to you. His diving try on a fly ball by Giles went unrewarded. He slammed into the bricks and had to leave the game. Kendall grounds to third, and that retires the side. 3 runs, 2 hits and a walk. Let's welcome Downers Grove High School to guest conduct our 7th inning stretch.
From Downers Grove High School.
Hey, it's a great day to be a Downers Grove South Mustang and a Chicago Cubs fan. Let's hear you, Chicago. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hit hard, Cubs. Let's get some runs.
Time flies when you're having
Cold filtered MGD. Pure beer for a pure night out.
Hey everyone, Mitch Robinson at the Empress Casino in Joliet, reminding you that time is running out on the Cold Cash Cool Cars giveaway. We've already given away the Cold Cash, but there's still time to enter for the Cool Cars. Someone's going to win this Cadillac Escalade or his and hers Mustang convertibles. The lucky winners will be drawn this Friday night at 7 right here at the Empress Casino. You must be present to win. So come on out to Empress Casino Joliet for the Cold Cash Cool Cars giveaway before it's too late.
Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares and frequent flights. Call 1-800-I-FLY-SWA or visit southwest.com. Southwest Airlines, official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
Mike Benjamin takes over at third base. Adrian Brown in center. Chad Hermanson moves to left for the Pirates, who have a 9-run lead in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Our thanks to the folks from Downers South High School. Great job. Guest conducting the 7th inning stretch. And again, I know Rosie Brown awfully proud of his cousin, Sam Carson Jr., who was on that football team. State champions in Class 8A.
I remember watching that ball game. It was a nail biter. Back and forth against Naperville Central. Tell you what, Downers had a tough ball game against Maine South to get to that state championship game. Beat Maine South 35-34.
Ground ball by Rosie Brown to the right side. Pokey Reese, easy play. And it's just ground ball after ground ball from Jimmy Anderson today. 1 up, 1 down for Robert Machado. There are your changes. We'll show them to you. We want to send along get well wishes to Chicago fireman Neil Roman, watching our telecast this afternoon. Hope he's feeling better. 9-0 your score for Machado. Machado 0 for 2 in the ball game. This is another one of those ball games where when you don't hit and you don't get much pitching, you look real bad, and that's pretty much sums up this particular game for me.
Yeah, and early on in this season, the Cubs, a couple of games here at Wrigley Field, down early, and very difficult to swing the bats when you're down 4 or 5 runs. in those first couple of innings. Cubs coming into this ball game 6-14 here at Wrigley Field, and that was a big reason the Cubs were so successful last year in their 88-win season. There were 15 games over 500 right here at Wrigley Field.
But obviously, Dave, this Cubs offense is not all it's quacked up to be.
Does that confuse you?
I sure hope not. Only one hit for the Cub offense. We've got Juan Cruz and Josh Fogg in game 2, which will follow about a half hour at the end of this particular ball game. Fogg's already beaten the Cubs twice this year. And then, of course, everybody in baseball will turn their eyes to tomorrow night, which will also be a Fox Sports telecast. Mark Prior will make his much anticipated, you can't say long awaited debut, because it's only been in professional baseball a little over a year. And after what, 9 minor league decisions, here he'll find himself in the major leagues. Cubs will have a roster move to announce tomorrow, as Prior will take someone's spot. There was some debate as to whom, if anyone, would make a move to the bullpen. Certainly Beret didn't help his cause with 6 runs, 6 hits in 5 innings today. Juan Cruz also was a man that maybe was on the rotation bubble. That man, Scott Chasen, also has not fared particularly well. And then the Cubs also, as Machado dumps the second hit of the game into right field. Saturday, Cubs will get Alex Gonzalez back off the disabled list, and they'll have another move to make. So 1 on, 1 out for Bobby Hill. He's been on base twice. And, Mark Prior pitches for the first time as a big leaguer tomorrow.
I only had a chance to see Prior pitch twice in the spring. One decent outing, the other one outstanding against the White Sox. And the thing that impressed me is, you know, you come up to the big leagues and hopefully he'll be able to throw all of his pitches, because the time that I saw him, he was able to get his breaking ball over for strikes along with that changeup. And I think that's the biggest, most important thing for a young pitcher getting to the big leagues, is that ability to throw 2 or 3 pitches for strikes.
And if anybody thinks, and I don't want to sound like the party pooper here, but if anybody thinks Mark Prior is going to single-handedly be the savior for this ball club, you're sadly mistaken. And that is in no way a criticism of his talent or his potential. But unless he can hit 7 home runs in a game and throw 2-run or 3-run ball games each and every time out, one guy can't do it alone. And the problems for the most part with this team have, as we've said so many times, been offense related.
Well, Chip, I think if the Cubs tomorrow were able to get Randy Johnson or Curt Schilling in a trade for, let's say, a utility garden hose and a bucket of baseballs,
yeah,
and you put him in the rotation, you know, I'm not about to order the World Series rings yet. You know, a pitcher, you're pitching once every 5 days. And frankly, there's not that one player out there that can have that much of an impact on a ball club. It's certainly nice to see him in the big leagues.
Roller toward Benjamin at third. Low throw, but Young with a good stretch. And there's out number 2. And again, we're not knocking Prior.
No,
he may come out and throw a no-hitter tomorrow. He might come out and get lit up. We don't know. That's what makes it so exciting. But the number 2 pick in the country, number 1 draft pick by the Cubs last year. So much expectation. So many things expected of him. It's almost as if he's being set up with those expectations not to succeed. And to his credit, he's handled things very, very nicely with regards to an incredible amount of media coverage. I was talking with Steve Carver, the general manager at WGN Radio, at Ron Santos' event last night. He was in New York when Dwight Gooden was called up. And to the Chicago media's credit, the frenzy regarding Prior is nowhere near what it was when Gooden came up so many years ago. They were already talking in New York about what year it would be that Dwight Gooden would win his 300th game, and
Right.
How many years it would take for him to pick up 3,000 strikeouts, and those kinds of comparisons for a young player, while extremely complimentary, to my way of thinking, are more a detriment than an aid, because there's no way that someone can fulfill them.
But at the same time, Chip, I think as a player, you have to put up with that and take that pressure off and go out there and do your job.
And that's what he's done. He's put the blinders on, and he'll say, hey, I'm going to pitch baseball. I'm here to earn a living and make baseball my vocation just like everybody else.
The bench on the right is being painted with Krylon. The bench on the left with Rust-Oleum. After just 12 minutes, Krylon is dry to the touch. Rust-Oleum, well, gee. Oh, not good. Oh boy. For a smooth, professional finish, fast-drying Krylon performs like no other. Krylon, no runs, no drips, no errors.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
Aflac. The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work. Shut the window.
It is.
Call 1-866-4-FELDCO for no-hassle replacement windows at a great price. Feldco has custom-made and installed over 500,000 replacement windows. Chicagoland trusts our quality. Drafty windows blowing you away?
Hand me the phone.
Call 1-866-4-FELDCO for a free estimate. Feldco replacement windows. Showrooms north and south.
Stephen Wood owns a Hyundai Santa Fe.
Compared to other SUVs in this class, I found that I got the most value for my money.
It comes with the freedom of America's best warranty.
It shows that Hyundai really stands behind the Santa Fe.
Plus a long list of standard features, including 6-speaker CD.
It's a great SUV. My friends were jealous.
The Hyundai Santa Fe at just $19,489. It's the thinking person's SUV.
Freedom is calling, yeah.
The Hyundai Santa Fe at $19,489. Your test drive is waiting.
Our Pennzoil protection play of the ball game this afternoon. Fred McGriff slicing a ball to left center field. Hermanson makes a terrific play to rob Fred of a base hit.
And that was leading off the second inning. And the Cubs only able to muster 2 hits in this ball game. One off the bat of Bobby Hill, the other one off the bat of Robert Machado. As Scott Chasen takes the mound in place of Mayhay. Mayhay going 2 innings, giving up those 3 runs on that inside the park home run from Brian Giles.
Bruised hip, bruised left shoulder for Alou. His status day to day. Boy, it has been an injury-plagued start to the campaign for Moises Alou. And it just seems like the Cubs are snake bit with their free agent signings, isn't it? Todd Hundley hasn't worked out to this point. Alou's been banged up. Fred McGriff, of course, they acquired in trade. He has not had a good year to this point. Makes it very, very frustrating, I know, for the fans. And as mad as you guys get, how do you think management and the players themselves feel when they're not able to perform up to expectations? Young, another rocket. This one into the left field corner. And Kevin Young, sporting a 187 batting average, has 2 extra base hits in the ball game.
Well, one of the things that Chasen has struggled with, and granted he has not pitched that much for the Cubs, but with that fastball, it's tailing back out over the plate and really struggling getting in on right-handed hitters. Now you start that fastball on the outer half and it tails back out over the plate right in the hitter's zone.
strike to Pokey Reese. Kind of alluded to it a couple of times, Dave, about this man and what he means to this Pirate ball club. Well, he has made their pitching staff a whole lot better with all that range at second base and a plus arm at the Keystone base as well. Remember, he was a Cincinnati Reds shortstop, but had Barry Larkin in his way, had a shortstop's arm, had a shortstop's range. They put him at second base, and he became a Gold Glover for the Cincinnati ball club.
Well, I think anytime you're going to build a ball club, you have to be strong up the middle defensively. Now, Jack Wilson, granted he has 7 errors, and the Pirates really hoping that he can hold his own offensively.
Miller takes away the in-between hop. Good play. 1 out. Young holds at second. Nunez will bat for Anderson, who worked 7 shutout innings.
And always a tough thing over third base is you don't have much time to get the good hop. And Bill Miller running in on that play to get that short hop and make the play.
Despite 4 walks and 2 strikeouts, Anderson 2 hits and 7 scoreless innings. Abraham Nunez hitting .219, looks for his 6th RBI of the year and pumps across the strike. Ron Mayhay, by the way, for the Cubs, went 2 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and 1 home run. Again, the Pirates, fewest home runs in baseball, and hit 2 of them today.
Seems like with this guy, Nunez faces a Cub, and he's raking. I mean, lifetime .236 hitter, but against his Cubs ball club, .360.
Base hit up the middle. That's going to score Kevin Young, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have a new season high in runs. That's their 10th. Josh Fogg is saying, hey guys, save me a couple of these for game number 2.
And there's that fastball again. It's tailing right out over the plate. Nunez able to get on top, and that's the one thing that Pirates are working with him on, keeping the ball on the ground. Oh, you always hate that as a pitcher. You know, when your team scores about, throws up a 10 spot. You're pitching either.
You're the next guy.
Next guy.
Swung on and belted deep toward left by Hermanson. And that is long gone. Another Waveland wallop for the Pirates. Wow. That's their 3rd home run in the ball game. I don't know about you, but I've had enough for game 1. 12-0.
Boy, just not able to get that fastball in. You see Hermanson with that great extension. Once he gets the bat head out, by him staying off the plate now.
There's another drive deep to left. This one by Wilson. Brown back into the well. Leaps up, mistimed his jump, and he can't find the ball. He'll put his arms up, and that will be a double by rule. Wilson will head back to second, and third base umpire Gary Cedarstrom will head out and make sure Brown did not mistakenly throw his hands up. And the Wrigley Field ground rule, I beg your pardon, that's Benjamin, by the way, excuse me. The Wrigley Field ground rule, very simple here. If you go in after the baseball, the ball's alive. If you throw your hands up immediately and cannot find it, it's a rule book double. So Mike Benjamin, I beg your pardon, at second base with the 4th Pirate hit and 3rd extra base hit of this inning.
Well, you want to, as an outfielder, find that wall. Has he timed his catch? You know what, Chip? That was my mistake. That is still Wilson out there.
Wilson
I told you
second.
that.
Let's see the back of the shirt.
Yeah,
it is Wilson.
my
There we
bad,
go.
Chip.
That's all right. Benjamin's on deck. So Wilson did have the double. It's been that kind of day for us, too. Here's Adrian Brown. He bats for the first time.
When Adrian Brown last year, with the shoulder injury, did not play much for this Pirate ball club. Came into spring training with that center field job. Chad Hermanson on the DL.
That's what you're supposed to do if the ball sticks in the ivy. Rather than risking have it get poked behind one of those vines, let the umpire come out and get it. So Rosie Brown did the right thing. Remember last year, Julio Zuleta, Cubs were trying to find a place for him to play, stuck him out there in left field. I mean, he ripped out about 6 square feet of vines. I mean, just leaves and vines and twigs were flying everywhere. He couldn't find the ball. In the meantime, one of the enemy base runners circled the bases. First walk for Chasen. And Don Baylor doesn't want to go to that bullpen again unless he absolutely has to. Nope. First and second. Still only 1 out. And this is Mike Benjamin. Hitting 178. You can tell he's got the funky sideburns. Swinging butt. As good as a sacrifice, but it won't be credited with one. Runners move up 90 feet. And Makoviak bats with men at second and third and 2 men out. Pirates have won 3 consecutive games here at Wrigley Field, believe it or not. And their starting pitching in the last 5 games has been outstanding. Just over 2 runs a game. And Anderson did nothing to spoil that run of success this afternoon.
Well, that's the one thing that Chasen, seen him hurt in this inning by his fastball. If he needs to change speeds, and there was that changeup when Chasen got called up last year by the Cubs.
Uh-oh, swung on, hit high in the air, deep to right. Sosa back in the well, leaps and makes the catch. If Makoviak hit it 4 feet to Sosa's right, it would have been another home run. Instead, a great catch in right retires the side. 3 more Pirate runs come in the 8th. Sosa played that one perfectly.
$10 million, $12 million, just buy it.
Ticket to Oakland?
Okay, last minute fare. That'll be $1,300 one way.
Larry? Yep, we're changing airlines.
Even our last-minute fares are affordable at Southwest Airlines. Introducing new nonstop service from Chicago Midway to L.A., Seattle, San Diego, and the San Francisco Bay Area for just $199 each way. Every seat, every flight, every day.
You are now free to move about the country.
No waiting around. For those of you in pursuit of the gold standard, we suggest SUVs. From the family of dependable, long-lasting Chevy trucks. Now during truck time, visit your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer and get $2,000 cash back or 1.9 APR on Chevy Tahoe, Suburban, and Avalanche. That's $2,000 cash back or 1.9% APR. Only offers this good on Chevy trucks this durable. Get the gold bow tie. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
Six Flags Great America. So big, so close.
Green betting, sports talk, as you know.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Millertown. Hyundai, where driving is believing. Test drive one at your local Hyundai dealer today. And by AT&T Broadband.
Beautiful day in Chicago. Weather starting to warm up. Unfortunately, the Cubs bats are still ice cold. And Pittsburgh to the bullpen for the first time today. As Sean Lowe is on to pitch. Anki Ojeda on to pinch hit. One pitch, one out. Down 12 runs, swinging at the first pitch. Not a real good idea. One away.
And Sean Lowe, one of the three guys obtained from the Pirates in exchange for Todd Ritchie this past offseason. Pirates also acquiring Josh Fogg, who we will see in the second game, along with Kip Wells. Look at this staff right now. Kip Wells responsible for 6 of the Pirates' wins, along with Josh Fogg, 5 wins.
A quick strike to Corey Patterson, who is 0 for 3. Little ground ball right side. That'll be easy. 2 up. 2 men down.
Oh, what a great trade for Pittsburgh. I mean, and when you look at Fogg, Wells, and now Sean Lowe, they're responsible for 3/5 of the Pirates' wins up to this point.
And Todd Ritchie's 3 and 5 for the Sox. But again, the White Sox felt like they needed a top of the rotation starter, and Ritchie certainly fills that bill. The Pirates needed not only some good young pitching, but they needed depth, especially with all the injury problems that they've had. Chris Benson just now coming back. He's made 2 starts since returning from Tommy John surgery. So Dave Littlefield was very busy, and I think he made some great trades that certainly have given the Pirates a lot more hope than everyone thought they'd have at this point. If their offense swings the bats even halfway like they have today, they're going to be in pretty good shape.
You know, going out and getting Pokey Reese, and they are still hamstrung with some salaries. Kevin Young's salary, Pat Mears' salary, who's probably not going to come back this year to play.
Now, he's had, what, 2 or 3 different opinions on that wrist problem that has plagued him.
There's Lloyd McClendon, second year, and really last year you really couldn't evaluate him as a manager. 100 losses last year and just bit by that disabled list all of last year.
Pirates with a season high 12 runs. They have just blown the Cubs away today. They've hit 3 home runs. The Cubs have 2 hits. They've left 5 men on base. Jason Beret got shellacked. Ron Mayhay got shellacked. Scott Chasen got shellacked. And that man has not had a chance to do a whole lot of managing of late. Miller's aboard. And Sosa will try to spoil the shutout here in the 8th. Sosa again, his last RBI May 14th against the Cardinals. And for every Cubs double this year, CarX makes a $50 donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. CarX, more than you thought, for less than you'd think. Sammy's fly to center. He's hitting to a double play, and he's lined to Aramis Ramirez at third. Game 2 will start roughly a half hour at the conclusion of this one. Strike 1 to Sammy.
Do you know what Lloyd McClendon's nickname is? Or was?
I'm guessing it's not Lobo. Strike 2. Remember, he looks physically like a guy named Larvell Blanks, whose nickname was Sugar Bear. Remember Larvell Blanks?
Sure.
But to answer your question, no, I don't.
Legendary Lloyd.
Legendary Lloyd.
You earned that nickname in the 1971 Little League World
that's
Series.
right. That's right.
5 for 5 with 5 dingers.
And Sosa swings at a terrible pitch. He's got the weight of this team on his shoulders. And Sammy, just do what you do best. You can't do it all by yourself. Nothing happening in the Cubs' 8th.
Your local Ford store is making this the spring sales event you're never gonna forget. Get the best deal of the year on a new Ford Windstar. You get both 0% APR and $1,000 cash back. Plus, get a free family entertainment system worth over $900. 0% APR and $1,000 cash back. Combined with no payments for 90 days, and it's easy to see why Ford's got 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America. Get to your local Ford store by May 31st.
Thanks for the lift.
You jumped out?
I jumped out of the moving truck.
You're kidding.
At that point, it was like my decision was made. I'm out of here.
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Rattle, rattle, thunder clatter, boom, boom, boom.
CarX brakes for life. Never pay for brake pads or shoes again from just $69.95. CarX, more than you thought, for less than you'd think.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period. It's comedy, commentary, and all the scores and highlights you could possibly stand.
It's not sex, but it's close.
The best damn sports show, period. Tonight at 10.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Honda of Lisle, the Honda Superstore, and the #1 certified Honda dealer in Chicagoland.
Our producer of Cubs baseball on Fox Sports Net is Bob Albrecht. Our director today is Dave Turner. Our associate producer is Joe Rabbit. Our stage manager, Christine Charbonneau. Our production manager, Moheen Ramsey. And the executive producer is Don Graham. 9th inning rolls around. It's 12-0. Pittsburgh has the big lead. Mark Bellhorn shifts from shortstop to third base. Augie Ojeda stays in the game at short. Pat Mahomes, the 4th pitcher of the ball game. Let's see if he can keep Pittsburgh off the scoreboard. He would be the only Cub pitcher, if he does that, to not allow a run today. And a ball from Pat. 1 ball, no strikes to Kendall.
Yeah, Mahomes making his 4th appearance. His contract was purchased from Iowa on May 13th and debuted the following day in St. Louis. Now you can go, there's not one particular area that you can point your finger on at why the Cubs are going to be 14 games under 500, but I think the one area that has really hurt the Cubs is without the services of Kyle Farnsworth and Flash Gordon in that bullpen. Really, Don Baylor's had to mix and match a couple of guys that.
Ground ball to second. Not to be disagreeable, I understand your point. Early in the year, when the Cubs were playing a lot of 1- and 2-run ball games, yes, I would agree with that. But right now, when you're starting pitching, especially your 4 and 5 men, and Beret and Cruz, who are going to be 1 and 14 before we play the second game of this doubleheader, when they go 5 innings, that bullpen does tend to get a little bit exposed. So in that regard, I agree with you. But there really haven't been, frankly, that many games where the Cubs bullpen has been asked to come in and protect the lead late. It's been and it's not that the Cubs have gotten blown out, but they're losing 4-0, 5-0, 6-1, 4-2, 4-1. I mean, there has not been one single week's worth of play offensively for this team that has allowed Don to do a whole lot of managing, where he's had to manage that bullpen.
It's funny, that ball game on Sunday, and you made the point. I mean, that was a game that Don Baylor did have a chance to manage.
Rocket shot by Young. Boy, he is having a great game. He'll be 3 for 5, and Young with 3 extra base hits. He had 10 extra base hits coming into the game. I mean, fans are watching the game or sitting in the stands are going to say, well, this game is Baylor's fault. Well, what could Don Baylor have done differently in this game from a managerial standpoint? Now, you can talk all you want about maybe a different lineup or different players. None of that holds true. The players didn't perform well today.
No, not in one. When you look at one particular game, I think the definition of a great manager is, and certainly Don Baylor last year, getting the most out of your players, putting players in the right spots to succeed. But as you mentioned, there has not been that many tight situations where you can play those matchups, where you can outmanage the other ball club.
And it's been a story, too, as low as the batter for Pittsburgh, by the way, that Don has not stuck with, and some say this is to his detriment, has not stuck with the set lineup. Well, that's been out of necessity. I mean, it's a very frustrating thing. You can't, as a player, you would agree, Dave, you can't get in a groove if you don't get consistent at-bats. But from a manager's standpoint, if a guy isn't doing anything with the at-bats you're giving him, you have to give someone else a chance. And Don has used over 30 different lineups this year already. Some of that, yes, has to do with injury. Some of that has to do with circumstance, meaning who you face. But a great deal of it also has to do, in fairness to the manager, complete and total ineffectiveness by guys that were expected by that man to hit and haven't.
And you can juggle the lineup. You can move guys. For a while, Sammy Sosa batting fourth. Moises Alou moving to a different spot. But again, it's all, you can move them, but at the same time, and in defense of Baylor, just ride out that lineup and play. I mean, talking with Tony La Russa last week in the late 80s with that Oakland A's lineup, it was pretty much, hey, just ride out that lineup and close your eyes and have at it. Let them play.
I think Don's doing that. I think you'll see more of that. And once Gonzalez is back by the weekend in Houston, and when Todd Hundley comes back and when that will be, we're not sure yet. He's beginning a medical rehabilitation assignment soon. He's down at extended spring training getting some at-bats. And there's a bullet toward short. And so once those two men get back, at least Don will be able to put his lineup together, which has not been the case. Mahomes doesn't give anything up in the ninth inning. That's good news. And the Cubs come to the plate in the ninth.
Time to play ball. It's the Krylon Fastball to the Series sweepstakes.
What a game this is.
Visit the Krylon Fastball to the Series displays at participating retailers or Krylon.com for an entry form and your shot at a trip to the 2002 Series this October.
And it is gone.
It's your chance to be in the middle of the action, so don't miss out. Fastball to the Series, brought to you by Fox Sports Net and Krylon. No runs, no drips, no errors.
Hey everyone, Mitch Robinson at the Empress Casino in Joliet reminding you that time is running out on the Cold Cash Cool Cars giveaway. We've already given away the Cold Cash, but there's still time to enter for the Cool Cars. Someone's going to win this Cadillac Escalade or his and hers Mustang convertibles. The lucky winners will be drawn this Friday night at 7 right here at the Empress Casino. You must be present to win. So come on out to Empress Casino Joliet for the Cold Cash Cool Cars giveaway before it's too late.
It's tough not having a car. With immediate claim service, Geico gets you back on the road fast. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Here's our Mercedes moment. A huge day for Pirates slugging first baseman Kevin Young. 3 extra base hits, Dave Otto, including a mammoth home run leading off the 4th inning.
Or just a fastball. I'm sorry, breaking ball out over the plate, and KY got all of it.
So Fred McGriff leads things off. Rosie Brown and then Robert Machado are scheduled for the Cubs. Again, game 2 will follow a little past the 7 o'clock hour. Juan Cruz will look for his first win of the 2002 season. He'll be opposed by Josh Fogg, who's been the de facto ace of the Pirates. He's 5-1. There's a fly ball to left and deep and gone. Fred McGriff homers for the second consecutive game. That's the 12th run the Cubs have scored in 7 games.
You know, that puts the Cubs, Chip, you know, obviously 1 run, they have a big hill to climb. But to me, I like to see that from Fred McGriff, driving that ball the other way for his 5th home run of the year and 25 RBIs. And you know, that's something that's often overlooked. 25 RBIs this point in the season. He's on a pace of 100 RBIs. So on a positive side, Fred McGriff, 2nd home run. 2 home runs in a row.
That's ground ball right side. Young to his right. Good play, good feed. But you're right. Despite a low batting average, still has been able to drive in runs the most consistently for an inconsistent offense with 2 outs. He's knocked in 25 now. That's 1 more than Sosa, despite hitting 11 fewer home runs. Here's Machado. Robert 1 for 3 in the ball game. That home run by McGriff gives the Cubs in their last 7 games 12 runs and 38 hits.
And the Crime Dog also benefiting from hitting behind Sosa. You look at Sosa's numbers coming into this ball game, a .450 on base percentage. So most of the time, the bulk of the time, has been driving in Mr. Sosa. I like to see that from him, driving the ball the other way. You know, the home run the other day to right field, getting on top and pulling it, but get those long arms extended, just drive it to left.
Popped up out of the play by Machado. No balls, 2 strikes. Other baseball action underway already. New York is in Philadelphia. That game's scoreless after 2. Florida's in Cincinnati. The first place Reds 0-0 in the 2nd. Later on, Houston will be in St. Louis. Dodgers visit Milwaukee. San Diego at Colorado in National League play. White Sox got 3 in Boston. 3-0 after 1 at historic Fenway Park. Cleveland and Detroit scoreless after 2. And the Yankees are just roasting hot. They're winning again at home against Toronto, 2-0. The 2nd inning score there. Comes down to their final out as Machado strikes out. It's Bobby Hill, who's been on base twice in the ballgame. 2nd strikeout for Lowe, who will not be credited with a save. The lead was too great, and he did not work the requisite number of innings, which would be 3 to qualify. Outside to Bobby Hill. Pirates got 3 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. Hill a high fly to deep center. Adrian Brown camps out, and the Pirates shellac the Cubs in game 1. 12-1 the final score. The Cubs have dropped 10 of their last 11 games, and again they fall to 14-28 on the year, 7-17 in the Central. And the dismal offense continues. Just 12 runs, 38 hits in the last 7 Cub games played. Pirates win this one very easily, and Jimmy Anderson, Dave Otto, with another great performance, is our Hyundai player of the game.
Well, once Jimmy Anderson got that lead early, he was able to find a rhythm out on the mound as he goes 7 innings, only 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and 4 walks. But again, anytime your offense falls behind as big as the Cubs did in tonight's ball game, very difficult to come from behind. We've seen that all year, but you give up this many runs, I don't care who you're playing, tough to overcome that.
So the Pirates beat the Cubs 12-1. The final score. Game 1 mercifully is in the books. We'll hope for better times in Game 2, which will follow shortly. We'll take a break, come back with more from Wrigley Field in a moment.
It's tough not having a car. With immediate claim service, Geico gets you back on the road fast. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nothing beats the fun and excitement of watching the Cubs in beautiful Wrigley Field. And you can be there. That's right. Tickets are still available for upcoming Cubs games. To get your tickets, just call tickets.com at 1-800-THE-CUBS. Head to the Wrigley Field box office. Punch in www.cubs.com. Or visit any Chicagoland Sears or Sears hardware store. Don't wait. Catch all the Cubs action firsthand and get to the game.
Hey, he's taking that blind guy's money.
You stole from a blind guy? Well, what are you going to do for an encore there?
I think I may kick some puppies. How's that?
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Did you steal that guy's dog, too? Is that whose dog that is?
If you live in the suburbs and want low city pricing, but you're afraid of high city taxes, Jacobs Twin Auto Plaza has a message for you. Your sales tax is based on where you live, not where you buy. And you won't find a selection like this anywhere else in Chicago. So if you live in the western suburbs, you're just minutes away from volume savings at Jacobs Twin Auto Plaza.
You always win at Jacobs Twin.
Just 5 blocks east of Harlem on Grand Avenue.
Rations down? Get smart. Get supplied. Military and Police Supply has aisles and aisles of military merchandise and other fun things. We've got the good stuff and the rough stuff. Manuals for your mind, stickers for your bumper, bulldogs and cycles. We've got watches and rings, caps, hats, and helmets. Hey, that looks good. Don't get many complaints. Located at 7351 West Madison and Forest Park, minutes from the Eisenhower from the city or suburbs. Dial 312 surplus for weekly specials and closeouts. Supplying security for over 25 great years. Military and Police Supply. Thanks for the business.
From our Fox Sports Studios, you're dialed in, and we're breaking it down. Play by play. Fox style. So turn it up. This is the Fifth Third Bank Chicago Cubs Post.
Key play of the game, first inning.
There's a
runners in
double play
first
ball.
and second, and Bobby Hill will slow and turn in the double play. Runners in first and third by, and that, in essence, led to 3 runs in the first inning.
You know, I really thought it was because Jason got himself in a little bit of trouble there, and I thought these guys were a little lackadaisical on turning that, and you got to give Brian Giles credit. He busted his tail, kept that inning alive. They get that double play right there. It's a whole different ballgame for Jason.
Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Goodman, Mike Bielecki along the way and by. We've been saying it all season. The piece is just not there for the Cubs today. Starting pitching wasn't there, bullpen wasn't there, hitting wasn't there, defense wasn't there, and then to add to it, Moise Alou goes out with an injury.
Well, I mean, hopefully, right now he's probably a little sore, but when he wakes up tomorrow, we saw the highlights. He went into that concrete wall and that metal sheathing down there, and he went in hard. You got to give him credit. You know, these guys were losing by 9 or 10 runs, and to bust his tail to try to make that play, you got to tip your cap to him.
I would agree with that. Time now to go out to the ballpark to bring in Chip and Dave. And guys, a lot of discouraging things about today's ball game. The thing that really concerned me more than anything is, and we talked about it during the pregame show, Pirates came in as the worst hitting team in baseball, and they put up a 12 spot today.
Well, the best thing about Game 1, guys, that you can say is that mercifully it's over. And really the one thing that isn't over is this Cubs' long offensive drought. The last 7 games are averaging about a run and a half a ball game, and they're averaging a little more than 5 hits a game. In this day and age of explosive offense, Dave Otto, with the ballparks the size that they are, with the hitters as big and as strong as they are, 1.5 runs and 5+ hits a game isn't going to win you many, and the Cubs have now lost 10 of their last 11.
When you dig yourself this big of a hole, obviously it's very difficult to come back, but the quality teams, every once in a while in a ball game like this, will step up the offense to score some runs. St. Louis did it a couple days ago where they scored a bunch. They were down 8-0. I'm not saying that the Cubs had to do that in today's ball game. Very difficult. Jimmy Anderson threw the ball well, but at the same time, the offense is struggling, and the starting pitching right now is digging themselves a big hole and difficult to score any runs when you have a guy like Jimmy Anderson on the mound, stake to a 6-run lead. He's in his rhythm.
Yeah, so maybe you guys were right. Maybe that first inning turns things around, but the fact of the matter is the Pirates scored 9 more times after the first inning, and that's far too many for the Cubs offense to come back from it.